One man, one mission, to rid the world of chronic anxiety once and for all. The Anxiety Guy, Dennis Simsek, shares his personal transformation from living a life filled with overwhelming worry to becoming a full-fledged positivity machine. A leading authority in generalized anxiety, Dennis gets to the truth of your mental health challenges and sets you on a path to transforming each and every area of your life. Here he is, the one and only, the Anxiety Guy.
Welcome to episode number 288. This is the Anxiety Guy podcast. I'm Dennis Simsek. Thank you, warriors, for joining me today in this podcast episode. I hope that this podcast episode can be the inspiration and the wisdom that you need when you wake up on Monday morning and take on the day, take on the week, take on the rest of your life, because together we are becoming more than anxiety. You can be certain of that. And warriors, this podcast episode is brought to you by theanxietyguy.com. Head on over to theanxietyguy.com, read a couple blog posts, learn more about my programs, and get on the path towards healing anxiety for good. theanxietyguy.com. And in today's podcast episode, I want to talk about progress. You know, when you think about progress, it's like, oh, I'm making progress because I feel better. I'm making progress because I no longer think these types of ideas. I'm making progress because I'm building my relationships. Yeah, that's a part of it. But what's interesting about progress is that things can get a lot worse before they get better. And when things get worse, it's not that it's getting worse for you. It's that you are revealing certain things that you have consciously been running from for far too long. So what is progress? Progress is a stepping stone that leads to the realization of an eventual personal goal. It's a stepping stone. It's not the end. It may even be the beginning. That's progress. So as long as we see progress as being a stepping stone, we can understand that, hey, there's another stone that I have to step on eventually. And to tell you the truth, is there an end to this? Well, yes, there is, because you no longer suffer from anxiety, right? You no longer suffer from such a sensitized state to your environment and people and such. Yes, so there is an end to anxiety, but is there an end to progress? No, there isn't. There's maintenance, then there's personal growth, then you move towards a more inspiring and committed life towards other people, and then you're writing your book, and then you're speaking on a stage, right? And so there is no end to your improvement. Understand that. So let's get into the 3 truths about progress over anxiety. Truth number 1 is that progress reveals the root causes of your anxiety. Oh boy, this is big. Progress reveals the root causes of your anxiety. You want to find the root cause of your anxiety? Make progress. Because it's not that progress will just end everything. No, progress will reveal what has been stuck within your subconscious mind, body, and spirit for this long. So someone's making progress and all of a sudden they start to feel an ache in their tummy, or their tummy starts to feel tight every single time they visit a certain environment. Well, there you go. There's a connection there. And your level of consciousness, your level of awareness will allow you to be less reactive in that moment and more so guiding. Because it is only when we begin to guide the very thing that we are afraid of that we begin to heal. We must understand this. So when you're making progress, you will reveal the root causes of your anxiety. And as you do, you can continue to listen to your intuition. You can continue to reframe those past experiences and rebuild your past relationships to get to a place of inner peace. Truth number 2 about progress over anxiety is that progress can be earned or not, meaning it can show up through action or inaction, whichever is needed the most from the individual. When you live in a world of anxiety, you feel like you always have to do. Okay, I have to consume as much information as I can. I have to expose myself to all my fears. But the truth is that there's a lot of learning to be done by not doing. Okay, I truly believe that not doing it, when you can get to a place where you are comfortable in not doing, more so observing your bodily symptoms, observing these certain ideas, observing your anger in certain environments, observing your sadness in certain relationships. When you can observe, that is when you learn the most. And you're learning the most about yourself, your adult ways, but more so you're learning about your childhood ways, your child mind, your subconscious mind. So progress can be earned or not. Okay, it's not all about doing, it's about observing, it's about being with, it's about connecting with. Because let me tell you a very important truth here. Anxiety is a part of you, okay? Sadness is a part of you. Happiness is a part of you. Joy is a part of you, right? All of these are different parts of you. Anxiety doesn't have to be identified with. Anxiety can be seen as a part of you. And therefore, as long as you see it as a part of you, you can begin working with it. This is key. Number 3 truth about progress is that progress brings forth clarity. And clarity is what heals old wounds, not the action itself. You can take as much action as you want. In fact, I'm speaking to a lot of people lately, and they're saying, I'm doing everything I can for my anxiety. Okay, well, do less. Okay? Because when you make progress, real progress, and when I mean progress, you have a mental clarity moment, and you no longer succumb to a catastrophic idea, for example, and instead of succumbing to it, you begin understanding it, where it comes from, what it's trying to do for you. Because the catastrophic idea is not trying to harm you. It's trying to prevent you from experiencing the same emotion that you did once or twice or a handful of times in your life. And so, when you make progress, you gain clarity. When you gain clarity, your intuition begins to speak. No longer are you stuck in mental, cognitive activity all the time, overthinking, but your intuition begins to become strengthened through progress and clarity. And so through this clarity, you can begin seeing beyond your fearful and anxious ideas. This is the key. Our job is not to win anything, okay? Win, defeat anxiety. No, we don't want that, because that keeps you instinctual, that keeps you fighting, that keeps the adrenaline and cortisol running. What we want instead is to gain enough clarity to see beyond the instinct and to look towards how this anxiety part of us, is so unconditionally loving that it's looking out for us at every moment of our lives. Thank you. But let me tell you something else, anxiety. This is not the time for it. Nor is there really a time for you at all. There is no time for anxiety. That's the truth. We live in a peaceful world that we have learned to fear. And so, sometimes it's not so much the action that heals, but it's the clarity from the non-doing that heals. Warriors, if progress is being made, take the lessons from it. If it is not, understand your own blocks to healing better. You're on a journey. It's not a journey to be won, but rather a journey to a better relationship with what it is you've been fighting so hard to get rid of. When this collaboration improves, only then can true healing arise. I want to go through these 3 truths about progress one more time. Write these down for me. Progress reveals the root causes of your anxiety. Progress can be earned or not, meaning it can show up through action or inaction, whichever is most needed by the individual. And finally, progress brings forth clarity, and clarity is what heals old wounds, not the action itself. Oh my. I suggest that you listen to this podcast episode a few times. And if you know anybody out there that's suffering, please take a moment to share with them this insight, this knowledge, this podcast, so that we can help them become more than anxiety as well. When I do these podcast episodes, it doesn't matter to me the length of them. What matters is the message. So my question to you today is, what was the biggest message that you gained from this podcast episode? Write that down as well. And never, ever, ever succumb to an idea because it's just an idea. Rather, go ahead and create your own ideas about things. Not the ideas that were given to you, but starting today, you can mold yourself. You can become the greatest version of you. You can go back to a time of being carefree, childlike, creative. That's who you truly are. Remember, compete with no one, and you will live with inner peace for the rest of your life. I love you all from the bottom of my heart. If you're enjoying this podcast, please give it a positive rate and review for me. It would mean so much to me. And if you get a chance, come on over and visit theanxietyguy.com and check out the resources. Love you all. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Thanks for being an important part of the Anxiety Guy podcast community. If you enjoyed this podcast, please leave a positive rate and review. If you're searching for further support on your road to recovery from anxiety, head over to anxietyexit.com and take part in the powerful End the Anxiety program based around the CBT model. If you're searching for a more one-on-one approach, you can sign up now for personal coaching sessions with Dennis via Skype. Remember, you are more than anxiety. See you in the next episode.